Let's bring in New Jersey Congressman and House Homeland Security Committee member Jeff Van Drew. Congressman, good morning. And I want to add to a couple of things that Mr. Corden said, not just the corporate tax rate going to 28%, but also they want to limit the so-called pass-through businesses tax deals like LLCs. Basically, that is small businesses, to be clear here. They also want to go after the estate tax. Your reaction?
All bad. We had come forward. Our economy was moving forward, under the past administration. Amazing things occurred. Best economy we ever had. We were literally, with this and with almost everything else we're doing, just completely going backwards. When I ran, I talked about a strong America that would have a strong supply chain, really make sure that our military is strong, that our manufacturing is strong, that, we're producing more energy than anybody, the #1 country in the world. And you can see where we've cut the pipeline, where now we're going to increase taxes. It's a nightmare. It's literally every bad thing that I said was going to happen is now happening. Corporations are not going to want to stay in the United States. People are not going to have as much disposable income. It's just nothing good about it. And it's really eventually going to hurt the economy.
Well, I've said this before. I said it earlier this morning. You can't tax your way out of this, even if you go after the wealthy, even if you've got plans on place like Elizabeth Warren, who we hope that doesn't go through. But I just want to point out something here. The federal deficit as of March 1st, the federal debt that we're sitting on in this country, $21.9 trillion. And there seems to be, it's just this, we had $1.9 trillion in stimulus passed, and now you've got the Biden administration talking about another economic rescue package. Oh, and let's talk about green energy jobs, and let's give more money to education. I mean, where does this end?
Well, that's the problem. We're spending much too much. Now, we can do some good things, but just as you said, in the stimulus, all of the money that was spent, only 9% actually went for COVID relief. Unbelievable, the money we spent, all the way from, sending $750 million abroad for COVID relief for them, where we haven't taken care of our own problem yet. The monies we've spent in literally giving stimulus to, federal prisoners, to people that are undocumented, to special projects that have nothing at all to do with COVID. So we're spending too much, we're taxing more. That is a spiral for death for the economy. It eventually is going to hurt us a lot. It's so literally depressing, to be honest with you. When we have so much potential in this country, and you go to Congress and you just see bad bill after bad bill after bad bill.
And no, I mean, they say that they're reaching out. They've talked about unity with the Republicans. I think we have yet to see that. I know you would probably agree with that. But you brought up COVID. I want to kind of continue with that because obviously we're still fighting COVID-19. Dr. Anthony Fauci warned against lifting these restrictions. He's worried about new virus variants. He's worried about an additional wave of cases. You introduced legislation last week that calls for Congress to prioritize vaccinating Americans before we export doses to foreign countries. Tell me about this effort, and why is there a push when we only have 100 million vaccines that have been distributed in this country? Why is there a push to give it to other countries now?
Well, frankly, because the people who are paying for the vaccine are the American taxpayer. They're breaking their back working if they're fortunate enough to be able to work through COVID. And certainly we've got to learn that we are a good and wonderful country and a kind country, but we have to take care of our American people first. So before we send hundreds of millions, $750 million over to places all around the world, we have to take care of our Americans. And when every American is vaccinated, and we're far from that, then we can start doing these other efforts where we start looking at other countries and trying to help them. But it's taking care of the people that are paying the bill, taking care of the people in America, and there's nothing wrong with that. We have to.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And we still need to get Americans vaccinated first and foremost. Before I let you go, you're on Homeland Security. I want to ask you about the southern border crisis right now. The president wants FEMA to assist with handling these migrant kids down there. Sunday Morning Futures yesterday, Maria had Texas Governor Greg Abbott on the concerns of what's happening down there. I want you to listen to what he told her.
It's the Biden open border policies that are inviting even more illegal immigration and actually have created this humanitarian crisis. More importantly, though, Maria, is this challenge, and that is the Border Patrol officers told me that the Biden administration policies, they are enriching and they are empowering the drug cartels in Mexico who make money off of the people that they assist in smuggling them into the state of Texas. The cartels make money off of these migrants that you and your viewers see on TV.
Congressman, your reaction?
He's dead right. He's absolutely right. This is a self-created crisis, and it is a crisis. Did everything wrong. We were continuing to build the border wall. Then we should work on a better way of having legal immigration. You just don't stop and say to people, come on in, whether you're sick, whether you're not sick, whether you're just a child, whether you're a criminal. What we're doing is back to where we were before. It's amazing to me, truthfully, that the president in pretty much less than 2 months has been able to do so much harm and create so much destruction. This is really going to hurt our country. It's going to cost a lot. It's going to bring health issues in. It's going to, these poor kids, some of them are going to get hurt. It's going to increase the drug cartels, everything. Everything that we knew was wrong, everything that we fought against, everything that was getting better. I mean, look at the percentages. It's not like it's gone up 2 or 3 or 5 or 10%. It's hundreds of percent. I mean, people are pouring in and more are going to be pouring in, and yet we still can't take care of all of our people, again, who are breaking their back, paying for all this, the American taxpayer.
Griff said that the amount of kids crossing has jumped 144% at the border, adults more than 200%. You're right. Congressman, can't agree with you more. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure, always.
All right, please come back.